celebration makes my day. Yeah. Oh, Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. Oh, Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. Asempa, Asempa, Asempa FM. 94.7.
Democratic and electoral process. Now, our friends from the media, to the reason why we are here. After the end of a thorough review process, I have the honor to present to you the presidential candidates who qualified to contest the 2024 presidential election. We had 13 candidates who qualified to contest the 2024 presidential elections. And we have Mr. Mahamudu Bawumia of the NPP, Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC, Alan Kojo Tremantin, an independent candidate, Christian Kwabena Andrews of the Ghana Union Movement, Daniel Augustus Latte Jr. of the Great Consolidated Popular Party, Mr. George Chumberi Maidu, an independent candidate, Nana Kwame Bediako, an independent candidate, Mr. Hassan Ayariga, All People's Congress, Mr. Kofi Akpalu of the Liberal Party of Ghana, Yiadom of the Ghana Freedom Party, Mr. Kofi Kukurantumi, an independent candidate, Nana Akosua Frimpong Kamakama of the Convention People's Party, and Mohammed Frimpong of the National Democratic Party. The candidates who were disqualified after the thorough review process are Mr. Samuel Appiah Dankwa, an independent candidate, Miss Janet Nabela, an independent candidate, Mr. Desmond Abrifa, an independent candidate, Nana Jepong Stevens, an independent candidate, Mr. Paul Peko, an independent candidate, Mr. Bernard Mona of the People's National Convention, James Kwesi Opong, an independent candidate, Mr. Samuel Sapong Ankra, an independent candidate, Mr. Nia Mudaku, an independent candidate, and Mr. Asamoah Siao of the Progressive People's Party. It is important to note that the candidate for the Progressive Alliance for Ghana, Mr. John Kweku Pipi, withdrew his nominations after the filing process. And here, I would like to briefly take us through the findings. Mr. Mahamudu Bawumia of the NPP satisfied all the requirements and was cleared by the two committees established to do so. Mr. Kofi Akpalu initially had issues with his tax certificate. However, he was provided an opportunity to correct it, and the issues were resolved, and he was cleared by the committee. Mr. Christian Andrews of the Ghana Union Movement initially had incomplete details for his vice presidential candidate and incomplete records for some of the supporters. The issues were, however, resolved after he was provided with an opportunity to correct same. Mr. Kwame Bediako initially had no tax clearance certificate for his vice presidential candidate, and the photo size that he presented was not a postcard. However, he corrected these issues and was cleared by the committee. Mr. George Chumberi Maidu, an independent candidate, had no symbol and colors to represent himself. However, he was provided with an opportunity, and the issues were resolved within the nomination period, and he was cleared by the committee. Mr. Hassan Ayariga presented only one completed nomination form. The other two did not have some pages, I think from page 137 to 142. The issues, he was presented with these findings and he went on to correct them and he was cleared by the committee. Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the NDC satisfied all requirements and was cleared by the committee. Mr. Alan Kojo Chremanting, independent candidate, satisfied all requirements and was cleared by the committee. Madam Yiadom of the Ghana Freedom Party also resolved issues to do with her nomination. She was subsequently cleared by the committee. Mr. Daniel Augustus Latte also had a number of issues to do with his form. The issues were, however, resolved and he was cleared by the committee. Madam Akosua Frimpoma Kwamankama had a number of issues, and these issues were brought to her attention and the attention of the party, and they were able to satisfy the requirements and the committee cleared them. Mohammed Frimpong of the NDP also had a number of issues ranging from a non-submission of a tax clearance certificate for the vice presidential candidate and incomplete particulars of some supporters. The issues were resolved within the nomination period and he was cleared by the committee. Mr. Kofi Kukurantumi also had a number of issues, including the use of registered voters in a particular district to support the nomination in another district. His issues were, however, brought to his attention and he rectified them and was cleared by the candidate. So these are the 13 candidates who were cleared by the two committees. Mr. Samuel Apiadankwa, independent candidate, was, however, presented with a number of issues to resolve, including not filing a tax certificate for his vice presidential candidate. And then some of his pages were omitted from the form and he had incomplete particulars for some of his supporters. Unfortunately, though he was provided with the opportunity to correct this, he was unable to do so, and the committee recommended that he be disqualified. Ms. Janet Asana Nabila also used the registration details of particular voters to support her nomination, of the registration details of supporters in certain districts to support her nomination in other districts. Again, the vice presidential candidate did not sign the nomination form. The issues were, however, not resolved, and the committees recommended that she be disqualified. Mr. Desmond Abrifa, an independent candidate, he also used the registration details of voters in a particular district to support the nomination in other districts. He was presented with these findings but was not able to resolve them, and the committee required or requested that he be disqualified. Nana Japon Stevens, an independent candidate, also used the registration details of voters in a particular district to support the nomination in other districts. In addition, he had incomplete particulars for supporters. He was not responsive to the nomination requirements, and the committee required and asked that he be disqualified. Mr. Bernard Mona also had incomplete particulars of supporters. He also used registered voters in a particular district to support the nomination in other districts. His form also contained varying signatures for the same supporters, and in some cases the same signature for different supporters. The committee was of the view that he be disqualified. Mr. Paul Perko, an independent candidate, had incomplete particulars for his supporters, and he also used registered voters in a particular district to support the nomination in other districts, and the committee recommended that he be disqualified. Mr. James Opong, an independent candidate, his statutory declaration was not notarized. Additionally, he used registered voters in a particular district to support the nomination in other districts, and the committees recommended that he be disqualified. Mr. Samuel Sapong, Akua, an independent candidate, also used registered voters in a particular district to support the nomination of other districts, and he was not able to effect the corrections of this, and the committees recommended that he be disqualified. Mr. Niamudaku, the committee found that his forms were incomplete, and again he also used registered voters in a particular district to support the nominations in other districts, and the committee recommended that he be disqualified. Last but not least is Mr. Kofi Asamoah of the People's Progressive Party. He used registered voters in a particular district to support the nomination in other districts. Additionally, he had incomplete particulars of some of the supporters, and he was unable to satisfactorily correct these anomalies, and the committee recommended that he be disqualified. As mentioned earlier, the candidate for the Progressive Alliance Ghana, Mr. Pipi, withdrew after the filing process. He did file, but prior to the decisions being made, he withdrew his nomination forms. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, out of the total of the 24 nominations received, the two committees tasked to review the forms and to make recommendations to the commission have cleared 13 candidates. And once again, I'd like to mention them. Mr. Mahamudu Bawumia of the New Patriotic Party, Mr. John Dramani Mahama of the National Democratic Congress, Mr. Alan John Kojo Chremanting, an independent candidate, Mr. Christian Kwabena Andrews, Ghana Union Movement, Mr. Daniel Augustus Latte of the Ghana Great Consolidated People's Party, Mr. George Chumberima, an independent candidate, Mr. Nana Kwame Bediako, an independent candidate, Mr. Hassan Ayariga, All People's Congress, Mr. Kofi Apalu of the Liberal Party Ghana, Madam Yiadom, Ghana Freedom Party, Madam Akosua Frimpong Kamankama of the Convention People's Party, Mr. Mohammed Frimpong of the National Democratic Party, and Mr. Kofi Kranting, an independent candidate.
You subjected your boss to be examined. Hello, sir. Let's go. At the commencement of this exercise, you subjected your boss to scrutiny by parties upon concerns raised by the NDC. They examined the boss in its type, nature, character, and weight. APC, this same. LPG, this same. New Patriotic Party, we sat here and we allowed it to go. Dr. Waneboama is raising concern about not knowing where the ball that he's objecting to came from. We were all here when the balls were opened, numbers were slotted in, closed, and put into a bowl for parties to come and select. Per the submissions of Dr. Waneboama, is indicting all of us that we've not been detailed, we've been shallow, and we are here supporting biasness. That is not the position of the New Patriotic Party. We've gone through the first round of picking numbers to indicate the order of picking to be on the ballot. We appreciate transparency, fairness, professionalism. We will not sit here for his own judgment to be used as the rules of the game. At this point, the New Patriotic Party submit that the ball that has been contested should be taken out and others added, so that we have the 9 set of balls to go through this exercise and complete peacefully. I think that we've entertained a lot, and at this stage, the process must be allowed to continue. This is the position of the New Patriotic Party.
Okay, Jerry.
Yes, I am very surprised. I do not know why we have to even come to this stage. Because these balls were in the bowl that was handed to the NDC, Dr. Boakyewaa, and General Secretary Fifi Kweti. They spent well over 7 minutes. No, I'm coming. They spent over 7 minutes examining the balls. He was not able to fish any ball out. We are all here. There is no difference between the ball he's talking about and the other balls. But we are just letting it go because we don't want to act like we don't want to accept what he's saying. We are just letting it go. Now we take out the ball. Left for me, I wouldn't have allowed that. But for the sake of peace, we allowed it to go. They have taken out the ball. Why is it saying something else? Was he not the same person who agreed that the balls were okay? Yes. So I am surprised. Dr. Hassan Ayanaga and his General Secretary, Mordecai, also took the balls and then they did what they have to do with it and they said everything was okay. We did same. So what is Dr. Boakyewa's contention? I think he has a strategy of delaying every process that is supposed to move forward for us to go and campaign to our people to get votes. Yes, you are right. He is deliberate. He knows he's not going to win, and deliberately he please.
Okay, citizens.
Please let's take the let's take the last two, one from APC and then one from GCPP. Then we move into the second round.
Issue and challenge and address. We remove the ball. If he's not happy with it, we can change the title, all it, and bring in new ball. I'm sure you have. We don't have. If you don't have many, then if he's satisfied with that, I think that's a point for us to go.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Citizen.
I think probably the way the balls are, many might feel that we can look at it, if possible. If we can have a very dark sack or something that the balls.
So that we put everything in. Yes.
You cannot see.
So that we put them here. You just pick your one.
The issue that I raised was that probably if it was in the form or in shape, you can easily see it, and that is why you can choose that particular one. But if it is something that you cannot easily see, then probably you might not be.
There's also the point. See, there's no how can something being organized manually be biased. I know that balls normally, normally balls used in the ballot, if it's mechanized, then weights can have influence on it. That is where probably you can talk about the weights are different, or maybe certain other characteristics of it is different. Balls, when it's mechanized, must be uniform. But this is a manual count. Even if it's shaking, you can't have any bias around it. Yes.
Okay, so I hope it's clear. So let's, Mr. Director, move on.
Yeah, move on. What's about the money?
What's the name? We have to show.
Maybe when they pick you, should just have to pick him. Please, they make it progress. Don't worry. Are you going to please, so Dr. Eriga, were you suggesting we shouldn't use this transparent?
That's important.
No, it's not.
That's it. No. Please.
If they change the ball.
The position regarding
The ball has been changed.
Yeah, the position.
So please send the balls round again. You give it to, and let's be sure.
That's not all. That's not all. I mean, the position regarding the transparency of the ball itself has to be taken into consideration. Because obviously, if somebody has what's the name, a tip ahead, watching through, you can see
the particular
end. So some opacity around doesn't give anybody that.
Okay. So maybe.
And also, your officer in the small.
Yeah.
That's in a bit weird. Putting your hands all over your pockets. Every time you can just check out. Very weird. A suspicious behavior. Your hands are constantly hiding.
I'm amazed. Why don't you stop Evans from changing the box the ball? You stop it. Otherwise,
Someone was going to bring another number. You gave him a heads up. To bring number 1.
Okay, please let's make some progress.
At the junction between the glass and the yellowish base. That distinguishes that ball from the rest of the balls. 1. 2. We cannot tell at what time that ball entered the bowl. What we are submitting is that it is out of fairness that the EC said, let's ballot and choose the sequence by which we are going to select our positions on the ballot paper. It is also out of fairness that the EC said, in choosing that sequence, it should be an unbiased exercise. Therefore, if the mechanism through which bias is being eliminated itself introduce a bias ball, it undermines the fairness of the first ballot that we did. That is why I'm submitting that if we want an unbiased process at the beginning of the ballot, it is only fair that these same papers that have not been destroyed are folded quickly into the replacement ball, and the first stage of the ballot repeated. That is the only way, because it is obvious, and I plead that the media is allowed, in the name of transparency, to take close shots of that ball which I have objected to, and everybody will understand. That is all I'm saying. Thank you.
So please allow the.
So I can't
Okay, no, you can make a
statement.
No, you
wait when he finishes. You can.
Yes. Thank you, Deputy Commissioners. At the start of this whole exercise, parties discussed. You subjected your boss to be examined.
Hello,
sir.
Please go.
At the commencement of this exercise, you subjected your boss to scrutiny by parties upon concerns raised by the NDC. They examined the boss in its type, nature, character, and weight. APC this same, LPG this same. New Patriotic Party, we sat here and we allowed it to go. Dr. Maneboama is raising concern
FM
about not knowing where the ball that he's objecting to.
Adishia no pay mamu nyina chimwa kwa badimba Asempa 94.7 FM so aseda ene yede matwedi ampon se ene eye ebobo so me ne da ye toso aduonu ba ko afimpinu ene aduonu na twedi ampon adom yen na wama no atwe yen se wafidie da ha se ya no pay a ye mo achene amo akwa ba ne yeda wase so se wuchim ya no Asempa 94.7 FM so ena wode to ye ene anopay so yesi adwa na watwi nsemo akoso ewo mu ne edi akotene ewo magimu ne akoso woni say enano a aka no ye kasa ye kan aka nasen amiato aba ewo magimu a enuru enne mako aduo wotwe enuru say ye nenam aduo son be num ho no mon kakra ye ko eti abusia ebere no wahu asa akokọ num nsuo no kokokokokoko achechede nante setie bia no 7 December no ebedu eti hu ahoboa no amanyoku ahodo yebode electoral commission for ebi ne ne nnura boye yesem nipa wo bi enwoma mu to wo no mo se wo nipa krosa wo do ho ato nsaniye so a asem no no se wo do ho ato nsaniye so wakari wo hu gi wo hu di se ye kase di oman Ghana animu a wo betumi ye di oman nanim se ye kase represent constituency in parliament a wo betumi a represent nipa ewo constituency population ye wo honom no wo betumi agina wanamu ewo mrahye bedwam wani okari wo ho ye abode tu wiase wadi wo hudi si obetumi akono se nipa no na famra hyebedwade no wonum akofo forms wa failure wie mampani de no so ne mrakuni ne ka no se wodo ho to nsane so na akari wo na wu se mrakuni ne de no okaaye no ni nyina ma famu turodo awie a wunwie ye electoral commission so won hyehye ye ode ye adwuma ye wo sesa hyehye no wutumi di so pepepepepepepepepepe ene enhyehye ye electoral commission de ye adwuma no se wutumi di so ni ye ka se bere ye a ye mefa forms wakofa bere a ye filing nominations no waye ebra chese forms no kura wo fele no kwanye wo se wo faso na wo fele no waye ne pepepe uye ni nyina awie na electoral commission ene committees ahoro ya ewutie oba pani je mensa wo se committees a omo seti ye no se committees no certify wo se wo famu niema forms ese fele wo dimra so pepepa ni age watum wo ye political party a yesimu betumi akọ wo ye contemporary se me kose contemporary na ye se no so ye gya wo no watumi ekọ enti amanyoku awodu etimi famu nipa omo ankorankora ye etimi famu onyina no na se electoral commission ye wakame ate ase ne se nipa no ne political parties no wonumu etumi dimra so ena yaje wo atumu eti abusia ena no paisi esi adwabo Asempa 94.7 FM so a yebeko amanyokuo ahodo no emu yebeko baabi esese yekobia enkomotwetwen bi wo se koso no ye ne mpanimfo ebetwetwen omo a omo de anye yi ama woni etumi efamu na isi mpanimfo so ye ne watwetwen komo anopai eti yenhya CMF PPP amanyokuo num na menkai wo sabusue mekai producer sebo michidom Dominic Kisi Boakyewaa ena esiedu etechire bi omanyene kwabna sante ene Philip Osebonsu ebomichidom mesumidin ede Akua Boakyewaa Yiadom mo frame ABY mejo so ya hyase anopa ya hyase mfiri PPP amanyokonum na menkai wo se yedem live wo Facebook and YouTube nti wadwenkyere no utumi ede bi fa ho ne hianso obebo Asempa 94.7 FM live on Facebook and YouTube nana machi o
Mejudo ABY
ebusia eni a wadika ti edin no eye nanafori chairman ya woda PPP amanyokuo no ano eti enra se wote sane electoral commission penimfo sikan ye na wo bubodin no we da ha PPP o ma yete asese omo candidate ye omo de ne baaye no omo je ni tumu a enye ye not the candidate na ne ho wasem na emom omo sisi ensem bi so nienti a PPP afi wontumi enyina bie eti na efo yi ne chairman ye misa communication ben ena omunya free electoral commission ho ne enti a ye disqualify wo na memu ache no megidi sa asembisa na eda wabam die enti na isi mpanimfo se ye disqualify mo because enye ne edika ani amu ko bie enti e be nwanwa se eniema nketenkete a rebi mu ye si PPP fo are mo
oya no credit isi electoral commission were incompetent na were jokers se ekaya abra ye submitted your document there was news flying that ye submitted your document now where you even what's your elite ekaya no ye dispelling rumor now that one kasa what front office ye signing in at 3:25 and I take one reception and a party so call no about walk or no over and our friend at 5:30 or your photo we were there at 3:25 you remember no walk or lunch share lunch for an hour se fufu no do sabetia no do se bibi no do walk break for 1 hour. I had a conference room or a channel. And that's the first one. You submitted your document last Friday, not this Friday, the one before. And I was say, well, who errors? What the letter, what the man? I am Minda, Yakokoji. Yajibi and Sunday, I consider 12 noon. Na Yakwe, and I resubmitted document with a cover letter. From Sunday to Friday, Yanti BBM fee issue. I'm a pa, and I'm sorry, and I'm there. Minya Ayaraga, one post to the Facebook there, one man a letter was sending the WhatsApp message 12 midnight by Dr. Bossman. Now I started the measure for around. Now a few people so when you are the same letter. And I maybe Sunday. Now yeah letter na. Now letter. What would be the reason why there one for your letter man? And to quickly I make sure letter to me the National Secretary. No submitted by 10:23 a.m. Now me request for the reason why they me letter. 1:16 p.m. and was sending WhatsApp message. We have been disqualified. No, any reason. Very vague.
What day asem na walking?
Very vague. Nothing.
Nana, da ben asem na walking.
Oh yeah, Friday. In the asem na making. Make sure a letter and no panel at around 23 a.m. The letter is stamped. We was stamped copy. Make sure the letter. The same Friday, 1:16 p.m. What the response maybe? The response was very vague.
Enti Nana, yen share the vague response a wo kano. Reasons ben any ye de mamo as to ni enti a ye disqualify mo. Is it the time na that very day no amo submit ye na wo kan so mo kan wasem na say reason ben
mysteriously time na you. That is what I'm trying to show you. Mysteriously. But your document when one name today or boxing match. Okay, the document now. You are coming. I will write the report to the EC there. Lake. So how come that thing was not captured in our letter? And see, as if that is not bad enough, the master will do press conference at 4 o'clock. The reason or the mind there why was disqualifying at this press conference at 4 o'clock, or a different from the letter, what's trying? Do you see what I said? They are incompetent. The reason, office that people from some districts, in the round district. Now the reason she's giving, or you different from the letter, or the name, and to show which is which. Which is which? In any case, the law of natural justice, they are submitting documents. What's the end with there? There's something wrong with it. That's the first one. Second one, you don't tell us anything for 5 days.
Asempa FM.
So that you give us an opportunity to correct the errors. You don't give us anything, any document. You don't even bother to write to us as you wrote to the people that you say were successful. You don't bother to write to us. You don't bother to write to us why we were not successful. Until I wrote you a letter to ask. Everyone has said they are super incompetent. But when referee there, PPP in anyone for court 2016, they mean here. The same principles are also 2016. Or in the same exact thing in West 2024.
Asempa FM.
The same exact thing. Now, as I am a buffooner, I am a fool at the same time. I want to say, I'm not winning today. If you be was any obi eko.
Why na emuna na nim?
Any commissioner tete. Yedi ye document ne kono. When muna na nim, as if there we are examining.
Asempa FM.
Are you there to be our enemies another? Are you there to facilitate the process? Okay, there you know. That municipal officer was really banana white shoe. Now,
Nana. Hello, Nana. Hello, Nana. Nana.
Yes.
Well, unim say electoral commission senior moan kasa naudia tudwa say from 2016 must stand be munim sheshe wo ho, and you know say you can't the constitution of electoral commission say commission enye nipa baako. So to target one person and say we na wamuna, and then you are going personal say ni sure nana meba.
He was the person who received the document.
Nani.
Now, Obini poster, my sister, member office. Nese member as a poster. Not the first word out of your mouth is that I have disqualified you without looking at a document, and you claim that it was time. Now, this same time, you have now run away from it.
Nana near me can say
run away from it as an excuse.
Nana near me can say wasam no de kura say na natade e hye no ni we ni de mesrewa
obi yo bibia oye yawa other man who there azina waye oye and he acted unprofessionally until I miss me address in that way.
Enti no meba yenkwasa na nkasa so yenkwasa na
I was patronizing with Dr. Bossman. Dr. Bossman was present to me. Have you heard me say anything about him, even though he's part of the people who took the decision?
Yankwaya sempa so nana yankwaya sempa so. So you were given the opportunity say monko emfonso bi aba ho monye ye maamu ye ne edikan ena ne etusu mienu ya mfrem ana say ya mfrem kra.
And I make a sure there. The first one now, yes, submitted document, last week Friday. Yes, submitted document, Memenda and warfare there were errors in the emerging correct. We corrected the errors and resubmitted. Now, many of the other people, they called them back twice or even 3 times. So they never called us back to say that, maybe a document here was submitted. We have seen something again. Because the other one for court, 2016, the court made it clear that they are there to facilitate. They are not there to say that I've gotten you or I am a mistake and I got you and you're out. No, that's not what the court said. The court said that they must give us due process. And they did not complete. They truncated the relationship in the middle.
Okay. Enti krata no a wo kan say wo tro letter enra fie no a omo reply wo ema reasons no. Yenhwe reasons na e wo krata because we say enu no differ from near omo kan wo electoral commission press conference na say the content of that letter no reasons be na omo ma ye ni enti omo disqualify mo no.
Me 1 second. Okay, what's it? On behalf of the commission, I regret to inform you the following: the review of your nomination form by the technical IT team established for this purpose. You unfortunately failed to qualify to contest as presidential candidate in 2024 presidential elections. The team identified several errors and omissions in your form, even though you are provided with opportunity to correct it. What omissions? What errors?
What
correction?
Let an no.
Letter 9, that is the letter.
And in nature say I'm going into detail and share more errors scroll. But press conference na sene meba press conference na sene de omo bomber mu who say nipa be from one district akọ sign for another district.
Nipa bank. Madam, you cannot just be vague. Nipa bank. In which district? And how many districts? Do you see how the thing is so vague? In Nipa bank. In which district? What was the error?
Enti mo betwea ben meba nana nane
me me finish the sentence.
We ni e wo kan na me hade
ebe was for you e film no. What if there was one accident who had signed in one constituency and had got to sign in another constituency, and they were specific in the name and the ID number? So you ask yourself, Obi, now this vague response, and then from the letter there was no specific, from the press conference there was no specific, and so how come what you said at the press conference is not in consonance to what they wrote in the letter?
Okay. Enti we no nya de asa mo twe aben o mo bi se o mo se mo ma ye into detail edin no anyway mo ko
I mean tell what you tell me ya court
no da ben no
Tuesday we are filing it on Tuesday, Monday holiday. And remember, we know the cases already. Yeah, 2012. All the same thing. The poster of the dead EC is the same poster of today's EC. There's no difference. And you see, Obibia, they can sit in their air conditioning office and tickle themselves and laugh. But we are taking them to court to go and show in court how come they did what they did. And the last time the court raised the issue of Odi Oterem Party, that the law of natural justice says that you must tell the person exactly what they did and give them the opportunity to rectify things. Having read this letter to you and you haven't listened to the press conference, do you know what the error was? Do you know what the error was? Which constituency? Which district? Which name? What was wrong with the name? Was it the ID number? What was it? Was it their telephone number? They didn't give you any specifics. And to people who use you are, then they give you this vague explanation. My sister, if I got to man.
Nana, me na wasina yemfansi ebetwen benada no court no na na ebesie no yatwaso afi ho.
The PPP has already victorious because Obi pedo ye born no one drink food one now pedo ye no. Next one prepare anyway here. This is what happened. You expose yourself to ridicule.
Yeah, that's nana. Ebusiania uti ye chairman ya woda PPP amanyuko no ano na for you na yate se wama yate no ena no pay wa Asempa 94.7 FM so se benada ni edika kura PPP amanyuko no eye ne se omode electoral commission e court na ono ankasa akaye bibi kakra 2012 ni e koso PPP amanyuko no and then 2016 omo preya wohwe abacho ye tro ya fimpinu ene edu ensia ewo mayimo PPP amanyoko no o preya beto so miensa eti sene nana echiri no omadi nkunim dada eno no court de enu ba bi kura wonkunim die no ewo no asem no no de ato yanim ti ye de ne se ye bedi echiri because yanim se PPP nko na ayo omadwen se ombe court ana se obi fufro ewo ho PPP de political party eti mame nko woni yes on standing on the ticket of any political party as an individual no ombeko owura samankra ene nano campaign yi wo hwe ne oba multimedia adwumakom ase ya wo behu se ne posters yi odi bia bobo no odi bia atoa ye adwuma mu ha ena wonam krom so a uhu billboards no se wahye eche bisa na ase factory che na ni abre oye campaign no enrade na siye doc machi no pay
machi miliaba
boko de
onyamela do bia boko na moso ya
adom mekai ebra me ne wo hye ase enkomotwetwe mu wode wani su ade hunu atudwa ema meti bie so ne emaye madwen se meyenie ahoboa no a wo ye ya no say electoral commission for ka say yemma wunyina ahoboa waye bia ye kwa eti yenhwe o preparations a wo ye and then what went wrong enra ye beti say Dr. Samankra ye yinu afrim
we the say me da fa say wa cha na pay na no correct anyone is happy madaroma na butaya ni gina so na say ebe buana ya build the crew so mino obi kwaya you say namsun enye nti anyone na ema ye chi hu si o say ebe buana ye paja ma ye si o ye de betina ya na ushe reasons that easy demaya ebia ape na ombe my better information better everything better and better particulars so far the omoka na say enya dia to agumi sijafa say NDC and a sa minor errors ya omoka ya madam ya press conference and go be you premana. These are critical things that SAHA a democracy independent candidates yenka Ghana from one and I say yeah the NDM say yeah my these are critical issues SAHA but your petition and the answer request to sell my more comprehensive information you move the mistakes are addressing. But the base of Madame Nekai, our president media, and I said Ghana for in a Asempa intimate and group with this kind of what they call it flimsy excuses and reasons to stop potential candidates that on between I appeal my SEO. When you have a campaign nobody could buy into our campaign. Nobody could match us with superior ideas. And it's the idea a hitting for hard, not the Muku say they can use minor or flimsy excuses to disqualify her. I'm saying a problem, Kakra.
After
we don't have to preempt the situation. Yen said very responding. Take it from there.
After say mo file mo nomination no isi ye frame mo kache mo say bia mistake bia ba na mo me correct munya that opportunity
and correct ye de ko ye no mo friend stand there no pa say yembra na ye me correct it but and can let am work out am read the actual only two things the said say instead say photocopy for the 4 pages other 3 pages we should make it original handwritten and second one and they didn't make mention of specific errors the things that Muka saying we did it in accordingly and see it was quite surprising and shocking say almost as if you said they told us saying correct and young correct are the same mistakes. It's again, like I said, I'm not here to preempt the situation because I have petition but
because you say adia ba ko a mo a mwantumi amfa mu ni nyina no na adia ba ko ra ne true say obi ewo one district no wasan ama party no anase wo mo amukọ as independent candidates no wasan ewa another district ama yeah no electoral commission HSA etiamre. So when you say omo excuses omo ma ye flimsy excuses say Obia, washa wani swadi huna wodi chujai. Na wakari huwa so obetumi adi mampani. Na se forms man tumi amfili na electoral commission see a disqualify wa a flimsy excuse.
Many about form Asema Okano. We get a duplicate of every document that is published in our. And our technical team are taking comprehensive exercise to go through to see what are the actual challenges that EC are complaining about. Now, we haven't seen anything. Say same names used for one district was used for the other district. We haven't seen that error as it's been purported. And America said we don't have to preempt the situation now. We have petitioned EC to say exactly what the challenges were. And now, if according to the letter of the mind, we fulfilled every bit of their request. It was only two things they were looking for, which they sent to us, and we responded accordingly and got it corrected.
Okay, eti o di ane nyese bi a obekọ court, but krata na wo di akọ you expecting say omo be ma wo comprehensive report say na wo kan information a ebe mu wahu sem fonso be na me ye no ane na wo hwe animu.
Absolutely. We had an EC, a former EC employee, and also a former presidential candidate as key components and as consultants to this filing. We don't just do things anyhow. We knew that certain things like this will come up in the process. Until we make sure that we covered our back. We couldn't just go ahead spending so much money and not taking care of these things. Until the reasons given so far is questionable as far as we are concerned. But like, as I keep saying, we don't want to preempt the situation. We'll take our time and wait for EC to respond. But instead, saying a FSC then we have a big challenge as a country because we can disqualify anybody if the system does not like you to be in this ballot on the ballot.
Doc, who can say a car mabo from the day I was here with the campaign I will ye any a sika with the file nomination ye say bunkonta kabesen wabo.
Oh, I know the many have to say those are make I say if you donate my charity, if you donate my AR4, and if you are donating just to correct the errors in the system, I believe that it's in the right direction. The most important thing is the purpose of which I stand political race will be accomplished. The fight still continues. Africa and started. See, may encourage all our supporters. They shouldn't give up. They should be encouraged. Say this is just the beginning. They haven't seen the end of Samankra yet. They've just seen it started.
Sir, Ekobane Sebia, mo nkrata mo dia ko electoral commission hon mu ankoyeye na electoral commission sim fonso na maye ye de akire mo enti muntumi nkwa a possible say mo be kwa akokan manyokuo bi se bia obeje o supporters say join this party, join this group movement bi na ye nyina ye mpem nko.
Absolutely. Obia na dwene e die behia obia ne botaye ene e die pe obia one ye akon ye pese ye kun say the system has failed us. 32 years of nothing. It's nothing to write them about or to encourage. Singapore took 30 years to develop from a third world to a first world. We have been in 32 years of even just the full republic. Look at our country. Our young men are walking through the desert to enslave themselves. Our airports are piled up with people run away from the country. Embassies are piled up with young flying everywhere. This is not what we want to see for our Ghana. Ghana deserves better. Into the second independence struggle still continues.
Enti ocean nipa no ene political parties na why na be person ka odo ho be dwon mo
early to make such a decision. Yenche no more responding back to what we have written to them.
You
Where the Miaba?
Doc, Mate, Mamina was in common, you better was switchy, Medasiano pain.
Miss Medapa.
Ebusiania, ye, Dr. Samankra, or yese, Obejna, na wapre mampeni di breni bi, eno electoral commission penny for chese there be, eniema and sheda and koye, ewo omunkrata or mufeli in forms or more de ba ye no emu, eti nedie enono, wache ye near oya twaso, ma yanko PNC amanyuko no emu, ma kwaku. Cheke Bernard Mona mamina ase ofri so yebeko PNC amanyoko num na yahwe ehonom so if say PNC amanyoko no call abato so no nipa omuteki decision say only the PNC in the 2024 elections no Bernard Mona former chairman ema amanyoko no eti ne si potin enam so ema enei PNC amanyoko ya yeka amanyoko abefofo no a PNC nka ho PNC nka abefo amanyoko ho enye nne asem enti reason no de na Philip Tabi adwenkyere yode aba Philip Tabi YouTube na adwenkyere yode aba Philip Tabi enye ne me discussion no nye hokora na baby a wonam no me ne kasahudo mu nyiyimu ni adapatwa ne saa ne man me nka ho kora so we anya ne hakora ni ntipe bi foforo na fa we ne fama me why ati a topic na ye discuss na wako honom we no baby a asem no sha ase no omo nso ovo no honom enye platform we so na e disasem we why na we so adwenkyere yode aba Michael Pekumi de yode aba osiakua number 8 number 8 yezu yeza eno a na bekro na Muhammad Shafiu ose onyamia kasa ama Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia alhamdulillah chese bibia de dana kwam ni enyamepe en waye no Sapon Kofi ose mechiamu nyina medindi Kofi Sapon ose akua no kwasem ne se me Cote d'Ivoire na me Ivory Coast na nim wom se mini Ghana de but me hwe the political parties no obi ade ya wo ya metumi aka se MPP amanyoko no is the best and Philip Botwe ose number 1 eno a na ekro Michael Opekumi ade ya ode Michael Opekumi no ose eyezu eyeza number 8 no a na ekro ena we so de ayi ode aba EU Gino Unisex Saloon onso ne de ayi ode aba ose EBY Asembi besi papa unim Ghana baby ayedru no ne ye hia bi yesa credit score system a Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia so ode ba no nti number no a wayi no etanachi ya wo bedi nkunim na nani so ade hunu aye adwuma apia Eric de ya wode aba o se ballot no chese na ye between Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia ne Alankwadwo Chematinho sa na ade no na chese etie fufuro bia eni ba bia Raphael Nketia de yode aba osemontoma Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia number 1 why wadwen so beto aba no tofa ho ne bekoyie ena fobi de yode aba ose bi why mesre Dr. woni ne kasa ye mesre no on fanshe 2028 se de nka ebe ya onko tena nche boko na 2028 omra because this year de eniyema nyina ditia no bibia ni hono a ekọ ema no anase gina yie ema no Ousu Kelvin Richard de yode aba osi ebiwai number 1 no na eko number 1 no na dem Amisco Spelele na dwenje kasoa wode efri osi in fact Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia ene honorable Mevisa wa Kumsin omu nyina number 1 o eju baka so ade na peme Mevisa wa Kumsin eda number 1 ena Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia so da 1 eti womu eto ama hawa Kumsin eni womu eto ama Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia no womu mre kora ena Kwadwo Pon de ya wode aba osi akua possible Boakyewaa Jemandua osi ebiwai in fact me de me agi NDC amanyoko ne se 2024 de emfa me ama hwe niema no matena se ahwe niema ne enra ne doctor wo mane bo amakoye ye wo NDC ye quarters ni we ni nyina che se NDC amanyoko no che se afi emfa ma won eti mesre won amfa omonti ase se na emfa dada ne besia na asie no we Boakyewaa Jemai ne de ayi ode aba eno no Bukari Alasa Facebook or say number 8 Akua number 8 no ana ekro ena master plan Genia Kentampo or say number 1 afa number 2 are ena number 1 the register no obobon hoi teacher constitution we amose or say Akua NDC amanyoko no fa number 8 wo ballot sheet no so no wuni mi ekire adanse ena gina mu pefe se mame enhwe o message no mirika de kono ma menkope na mintumi enkan teacher constitution o si adanse ye wo mu an se NDC out of coverage area mo bia ha no nkohwe number 8 na wunu number 8 kura na wani su biriwu enti ehu hia se number 8 ne ne wo mo kan nyina ebebam udu number 1 no a no asi full stop na se wato okọ oba bi ha bia eniwachi we ne de ya ode aba eno no na ma menkọ ahoma so ma menkọ ahoma so na enra ni enti a cheda na ekwa mbedi akon wo chese wo free dem hono no ede na ekọ ma menkọ Hubert wo ahoma no so Hubert wahu manu bedu okay Hubert bedu ewo ahoma so mini abe ma chi o
ejo so mini aba
bedu boko de
Yesu adom me hoye amoso
adom the new force matimi afam bibia atu atwa ana asem ho
ensem de bebre wo na enra de course no me de na awosia gumi esanse ohwe empanimfo a yede dwumadi a etese ahye wo nsa na ohwe ekwan a omode fa so na yenum so a independent so ekwan a omode yenam so a na chese ahomete pa
ekwa be no omode mo fa so because you are the second person independent candidate out to mienu anopai you are complaining about the treatment yedema independent candidates are my imagine say mobeko ekwa be na yedem fa so because enya monko na ya disqualify bi omokra de mo matimi afam ye sha political parties ye disqualify bi independent for so ye disqualify bi nti treatment ben na yedema amo
yo unyaba mame nya quick correction bi said ye wesi puti ade no Arvi ya Ghana for ebe fane se se ope president ebi ewo mani mu qualification process no eya koye se this is easy eya wadom there be entesa ye wonyoma electoral commission no edi egu kwan mu se ba to pray to say Panyoma webra, you see. We ni nyina ni a qualify o. Enti no, ya fast anyoma ni nyina mu asa atwa ho ka. Just like the other political parties. Na yedru ho na ye ballot na. Almost independent for no de ye ntnanten. Na political parties no, enyo mo ballot wi say political parties empono no be o balloting after the first 9 positions no now from 10 to 30 are independent candidates and I say what is the rationale behind Sergio Media any part 13 e ko to almost aba o se meyi na e sin na no for the first 9 na 4 na aka no na new year omo asan ba yo omo balloting separate enu ho asem de no ani e ka na ye ka bia isi no prade em se sebi omo ni ano atapanyi ne atakakra ena ateki charge of the whole program we ka na we aka
atapanyi ni atakakra ne ye hemfo a
Oh, say you know, you know, I hear Popo, or Ghana.
Him for
or Mafa or my you no more. Say a choir or what day or mine announcement. Say Ghana for I'm sorry. Naya ni or may am for my in Siva. You know about me, say, or my back any with that. Based on what I saw yesterday.
Minu abema boyen. Se uka se atapeni ni atakakra yenim se eye electoral commission. Ena mranama wotumi se kwanye wose ye fa soto aba bibiye fa abatro ho wo mayimu no omo ena enye it is a decision bi ba se ebi e wose political parties no omo ye omo balloting no wie ne abamusuo se bibio se ye electoral commission decision na ye hu ba so kasa atapani ni atakakra ye atapani ni atakakra wo ken no wonko ana anim Ghana ni bi anim se ye watapani ni atakakra bi omo take decision for the electoral commission enti misra chiremu ni enwu ne wo kan poten
se me ka atapani ni atakakra Ghana fo ATM ni wo mu lim na de me say ni say electoral commission you know o man trese omo no mo ye referee enra because decision making na enyo omo no mo make
na ye hifo
yeah the petition after me dem say e kwan a omo fa so eye balloting no eye bias and unfair because nipa 13 and qualify and omo play akoya anyway enkuno etin say enkuno ni kan ye omo balloting empty the first 9 positions na e wo ballot paper ne so no asem ni nyina ani o wo mo ntimi ayia no a address issue no na the two big political parties wo mo representatives wo mo ho no and they take decisions our program na say
Asempa FM.
So no na ade no o hwe ni dia just o hwe Ghana for anim na oman no improve any asumdie a ye pese ye nyina ye nyanti no ubu ani guso na o ma ne kosa na ni nyina nko wie se no na na kwa me bedi akon nyame nta de the 12 pillars now the buy no or sign PK number 12 on the ballot enti ekwan bi o mo de ebefa so bia no ye de ni mi se nyankopon ka ye ho na Ghana for aso ye message ni na ye kokoye ni
meja wa mo akono woni futufo ema na ekwan bedi akon efa sikasem ho sa na tie
me pachoane
enti ye ba economy no a na nse video a circulate ya chese na ekwan bedi akon kire se wo se ye ma adwen no eye adwuma na se ne ye twetwa nnua ne ye de agu toamu ne ye de nsu agu ho ne aka che China fo no omu ntimi nya atenten no mu abe tenten ye kan ye bema economy no atumi agina ne na so se na sidi ya area we se maba na mba ye ho adwuma is that the policy amodeba
miniaba benyi ni se nana kwa me bedi akon akogina baby aka se ni policy ni se obema obi bibi amana ye tenten na chichia na wawunim sadia Ghana your political terrain no esusie almost say free bibi propaganda me de bi ma de pro yeah no we are learned people, we are a team of experts, we are not career politicians na oman no ho dadwene anyway team. We are ready to salvage this economy and we are focused.
Enti video na ye hu ne the voice na no ye propaganda.
Me video awo kakra me hu no video kro.
Sa wo hu. You
me because baby any wa ya for can say policy and say be mo bia ye printing and say asoma okay dey me wan kakra.
If you say me video a me hwe ye no e dem a mantie te ho na ekwan bedi akogina ho and wo ka asem no mo ebebo o mo nsem abo mo nsem ti se o se hu ya menwie show yi mebo amatiefo ate na we enye nne ne ya ka se nanze brofo ayete se ya doctor we ye video no nti ye bebo o de modoso wo line so nti mamfa nsi anam na wase wai nti mo de ne de number 12 no se ne o kan 12 pillars
number 12
na moyi ejo mo ntoa mo campaign so campaign no mu nsem na ankasa ne gese ye gibre na ye hwehwe da twetwe ho nkomo ti ne de me de obesi abiri ni ho me da se
mate
abusia na ekwa mbedi akon eye cheddar the new force wote ani ya be men ene tunufo efa economy ho ne photo ene ye de atu Facebook ene YouTube no ne din e de Hubert Bedu o se 12 pillars no eno na o mayi number 12 Bedu ne da so yi na Ado Francis say akwie abo bi e bewu opre eti wei ni ekoso yi hwe ni ho eye menwanwa Lamprekin Rashid wo say akwie woni na nafori PPP amanyoko no mu atwetwe nkoma no pai na mihu se yaudie en wode kasa nasem o kanyina no yaudie mu en wode kasa ena Misha Kasante de yode aba wo se akua MPP breaki 8 no wo se saa wo mu slogan no MPP breaki 8 no a fall flat unim no munim se ye breaki 8 na yese nko mayi 8 na chese da mu ano no eso ato nsuom ye breaki 8 na ato nsuom se omoka ne ba bi enye ye hwe paper no so a ballot paper no opposition ye 1 eti se oso breaki 8 na di breaking the 8 na bekọ a obehwe ase o se ne akoduro ni se ye John and Jane na ekro eti 8 no omaka 8 a be di NDC amanyoko no ensem ekire bibi Kwache Michael o se bi wa mechia wa no pay in fact MPP ni NDC o se me de emi nwanwa kura se ye ma omo the opportunity a obehwe na omo mienu na age ne ma boso wo mu nyina de papa bi ani ho omo wo emo man Ghana se ye NDC o se ye MPP o omo bi ani ade papa bi ama o man Ghana Fred Azuma udidwa wo hu yo so de ne ye nya platform udidwa uja ke delali aka BK o se akwie me hwem live wo Bekum o se Asempa FM mame mama baso na sof mame mama mata o Bekum kato migration checkpoint en wo onso nyame ennom no wonka ne ho nhira no na ebo ache de ayode aba na ebo ache se akua Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia na ekro eye forward ever backwards never yensa yachi enko ba bia enkofa hwe yanimu a na ekro se oman enti omo a omo de yesan akofa no bibia ni ho no mu a oman no yesa akoyachi akofa yekọ yanim ewo amamuo mu Abdul Razak Yusuf de ayode aba o se akua number 8 no wo hwe Bible mu a 8 ekire ahyase foforo 8 abodie mu no ye shade foforo ase ye twa konkono no kano no twedi ampon ye adwuma enne maako ensia abodie mu wode boade ede toso nson wode homeye ena ede toso nwotwe no wo hye ade foforo ase eti enei me kame kire wo se number 8 no enye kwawo ade foforo new beginning ena ebobo eba no na Abdukarim ene wa ya the quotation aka ho Genesis 1:28 wo se hunhum no o kaya obeti ase de number 8 no ekire eti akua ne wonti number 8 ase no kenkan masemi ema ne no an makai no na adwempan ni wodi Asempa yi otoso mienu wo se akua me monitor mo live at University of Ghana Legon wo se koso na bisa ensem no mayen na mum PNC amanyoko no ena mesre wo mo se omuntu omofo wo muntu omofo ise ensem bia omo chairman ekeka aka no enya de se ebeboa won na aboa obia so yo abana kantamanto de ayode aba wo se akua kase nyame ye baako a nyame basa koro nyame koro eno a no number 1 no chese edem Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia ena ekro eti wei ehia nchiremu tintintin bia number 1 edem Andrew Skumson osie bi wai me bese me bisa o so the constituencies are womo no or say so the constituency me gidi say with ena o pese o three or say omo constituencies are omo parliamentary candidates are omunuru enwotwe no e dey position ena NDC ebeda ewo ballot no eso opezo hu ayo we electoral commission for na betimi ayiwa no ma me nkwa homa so na MPP amanyoko no director of elections sema amanyoko no eye Owura Evans Nimakon owa homa so yemisa no enra sa wo hwa achinye bebre ene ba ya ansa na omutumi awie bibia ajani Nimakon machi o
everyone me joso apomotiko
adom na moso
oba de ahwe
enra me hwe wo TV so tie wo radio ahodo so ba bia me tie obi a na chese brofo na wo wigu ho no mo ana the number e dia na e course fi se yemu se enchinu ahwe kakra e baaye ni edikan mu e ma ni e beto so mienu kura ba still after second enhyehyɛ ye kura mu ye yemu no ni e ba ni so da bi na kululu bi e course wo dia na e course nra
oyi mama me na o na initiative electoral commission and a two enkra ebe general secretary Owura Justin Kot kata no ye wo me say new patriotic party the presidential candidate say yi si say ne humo nyina no omo congratulating say were qualified to be in the contest and no issue no ebo 4 o'clock party no emra nyeme balloting into new patriotic party itu nipa se unukujina party na name enyina Dr. Amud Bawumia eno ni tie enra anamo a new patriotic party to call elect maybe why they only say the offer is Nisia offer 91 offer 126 offer 127 a ballot one sema in Nisia no in the administrative arrangement on a debate na ballot a baby yet to about 1992 BC 2020 parties FILE is usual money omo ballot intinya de no e no you could do easy boy amane the party be e was the nipa mi e ba mi new patriotic party been so prepared e do baby na e NDC for omo me parties is near no omaka in non comfort is in she ye ballot in two phases. First phase no ebe se is answer party also no on be based on third party a pilot nomination na randomly for pick the ballot. Now I determine when to be picking to be on the main ballot. In Yiadom activity for a resistance. Say the ballot balls assessment because these were round balls there or then not a shame now or the form. And this is for beginner almost name a general secretary honorable Kukurantumi. And then a director IT and election Dr. Wama. Something you see, actually, bossy, a examination. Only AP, Dr. Ayagatano, Ankasaki, examination. Ura Kufia Palua or LPG. I didn't general secretary. AG examine. And I used to say the obey. I said, what about Ballot to be an ubit now? No be all no. May be one back. No, so that's the fact. Now, I'm not there. No, the party say filing. I'm not there. Okay, I said, if be nominated between 9 and 30. That is party via the whole country of the court filing and the new patriotic. Yeah. And now, amount for what this respect constitutionally conversation time. That's inside the patriotic support. It is both new patriotic party being. Yamin Chadi, the copy here, the picking number 1. LPD. Ecopeki or picking number 8. Boom, picking number 3. APC number 2. NDC picking number 7. NDP FK 4. A do GMP, so no, my maker don't go no into CPP picking number 9. And I did CPP FK number 7. Names the number of Akua Kano and the Kwama don't go past. Umubim and a half. In the news that the first round of Ballot the corner. NPP may be careful. In that order, night, the key. Thereby, easy, the director of election. Urban of you. As far as my proof for the name of the process, percent on exactly 40 maybe. Normal face, the view of board number, Uncle you. Into the boss number. I'm the mind of the new man. As a boss, you are not the back could be. And when you check that, you say, I'm more objective to Sabor. Only man, down there, ball is almost some of your ball in terms of new weight, new nature, the character. Any victim. It's almost a full examination. I'm saying some beside they're talking and I used to be mine. And I'm raising issue about one ballot ball. And it's okay, because I said they used to be Sabo. Okay, so I'm saying it's a Sabo new money. First round of ballot in here, no. If you can, because biasness has been introduced. Now say, this in fact independent body. Now on digital ballot paper, no. Now independent person, no. MM1 check boss no. Ni inside ballot to. Normal cancer man. And no my new party a character. Yeah, in Chelsea. If you say, yeah, Baba, one casa, why a ball examination, Mujitum. Other parties in Swahili. Into the Omokika Oba if I cry, no more Ballot say, Opokra on jet, there's a black quality and back. Now, crown for now we don't say it will be offered alcohol. Now, we're there about Ghana High. You see, no, this year and a year, Juma. And yet, FIFA. Rules in the year now. Parties not for her, yet your lady, a do be out of biasness near cost. Yeah, mean to her. Yeah, we first song. Never independent person more episode of the in line with forensic audit of the register. And I have me a nominee and make up. And so, yeah, yes, if them not easy to summon a test, it can be the ending at the now. Now we determine the rules of the game. Into another who you do, baby, no. party say the NDC cano. You should be by. Now, balls are a good transparent vast mumpet. Polythene bag, a you pick, you know, a number get the balls as she said. I mean, this is a big baby there. It's NDC for. There's a, my you say, any stage of the process, no. The any where, and then not process, no. But I'm like a kind of say, Dr. Manipa, in a for Ghana. Then far, that and so, and yes, sir, you'll be deceiving our leadership. And one pastor, little bit green now, pay. What was the concern about it? Why is that earlier? Near Jackson, not still our best MP, not or a different opinion. On him, accommodate. That's why I am saying, my answer. And you got to be a clay, come and say, said the PPR, you're born to Akua upon near Tonga Mahmoud Balmia. December 2024. For body, Nagana folk Baba, not Otrabama, Brabama, Balmia. All the Ghana, Akua,
Miss Animako, Adia Bakua, a free and renumere no man for can, a ye, or baller, we video adia tum live or Facebook and YouTube no. We ye, I say kita when some kakra, no dada and a kakra, and I will be a so, and I will share ye, and I o pass ye, me video no description na me, o pass ye, edema, uru Peter McMenu. A drew baby a o sorry jina yas and no here crata and a wee free bone no. Baby a free by yas a kofia pelu honomo, and a free yan sana on sebe sum. Eti, which ye, nienra man for can na there be paper for front waje yana. Sa pass ye pass call her no. Oje ye wana ademano.
Yeah, on video no meeting the other Babetto. But me did it. Oh, Yiadom or more joy. Video Modiaco. Maybe a obey a different opinion about video. Okay, me, you couldn't make it. First one. Normally, I know with him. Second one, young. Now you see, because we patriotic party, you take your first one at the first instance. It's in the mind for a visit objection me now more than. I'm number one and come back every the politics. I'm my name bro. Any bro. A better than a fellow, no presidential candidate, what in Naka. No, say, may they mind. Okay, first one. We number 8, does it mean number the lead? I don't know, not say, and over to the into another queen number 1. On pen of one step of the new patriotic Baomia, or no, into another day where I will in over passing on. I'm a Christian near to everywhere. Me, see from near my papa, dear. Ye toy a candidate who am Mohammed Baumia. I only need to obey to Yamagana, a tumpon. Ye toy a parliamentary candidate. And yes, I apology. Obem now, Quia, now say the Atuaka. And that's not the way to go.
Ayo, Miss Animako, Yadube Siana, a free Tuesday echo. The ebesie ya twaso afi ho ye da se
yes nya mixta
ba ukwe no nyabotre ma miansa won say aspirants ni bi omo ekọ kontemkre ne nipa bi disqualify wo se mo decision ne mo nsem bi a mo kan ye no ma isi take decision bi especially ufa new force for mo che say mo ne NDC for na ba say why na enkofa krata ni bi ye ballot no mo jitu mu se da bi omo a mo kokwantenkran de ye mfa omo nyina nchen na ye nyanwi ansa. Was that the case?
Oh, answer. What do we need? balloting said the mechanical electoral process. What you say? Assembly of her own can. Maybe of her own. The easy may not need na or him na part independent as far as qualifier. The political party they do balloting, and some they do independent. And now I say no opinion is as a na at the same time. And I ballot at the same time. I'm going to say, unfair confusion here and ABC. Learning. New particular party. There are 5 candidates in all the 276 constituencies. NDC, I say, other parties, and so as I lead. Now, presidential ballot, I will direct effect on the ballot or parliamentary candidates. Let's so. Today, CNSS, placement of parties at the presidential, even effect of the parliamentary. Independent and almost for that parliamentary candidate. For purpose of consistency on the ballot, parties they be a to and independent number. The combine opinion back can say there's the 4 in one of the ballots. No in number 13. Into expect a bassa. Let's say if you are saying on tray elector, you quite enough for a number 13 a ballot. Now see whether it they were independent. Maybe say na no he to any ura ya boabia on be representative on party omotia say e maybe a political party and fact independent at was unless they are independent candidates into so on this issue there MPP and NDC, the idea of Benkum, and I did clear politics. We said, who said the course of crowd there? And then not APC, any LPG, and no much margin to say. This has been the tradition. Into Omontia, and this you can say to make their submission known to the commissioner. Naturally, not almost take a decision on the moment. And to new the party on this issue, okay. Daily opposite act. Na in this situated go or manipamato could be a palu edit number or the people for Monday. What a shame. When we say ever.
Ayo, me na wase, Mr. Nimako, me na wase ne mfonsia. Abusi MPP amanyo ko director of elections na yate nene no enra ne yekoso na wachemu bi ede amaye no eti se ohwe video a circulate ene eniema ye womu a emu nchemu bi so no de amaye no Rakib Abubakar osie bi wa mechiamo ne anopei na number 1 no the first term of Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia ya chese Ghana for so ekrado se ombeto ede amano ama nani suade hunufa deja sa digitization no etumi akoso ma menko na mene Dr. Computer Dr. Rashid Computer entwetwen enkomo Deputy Director of Elections ema NDC amanyuko no doka no pay memo achemo akwa abado ba Asempa 94.7 FM so
good morning to all your people listening to us.
You, Yadasia no pay say waji so. Enra balloting no yenya ewie NDC amanyuku no process a course so any results e baye more funny saying.
Oh yeah process is na problem na work kakrebi but results need ya to any problem there with the results. but process is not a problem because who say na me boss Dr. Mane Boama any general secretary no more easy technical issue about boss no number using who say so we using 9 boss na ni nyina say pepepe but who say na ball ba could be different from other 8 boss no say the problem I see and no more reason no but boss media yedia 8 media eno na here because you better break it no 8 years of corruption no na ewa ha no 8 years of terrible governance no eno na ebe break no so yenye 8 media ye jato
but sani ewo kan no challenges a mompanimfo a represent mu hu ye no ni nyina no easy for address ye
I say no omo try to address but in the process normally say okay be use address no who said my friend Nimaku MPP omo director election no he defied the process who say I didn't know ko yi board no of here because of so sign put your hand inside and pick, don't look inside, but he went and was looking inside. So he went against the rules. And so we say, okay, ye petrobla. We'll stop it. We'll say we'll accept it. But we see what got this time, you go by it. We know what we're looking for. Because we know Ghanaians are going to vote for John Mahama. They are going to vote for NDC. So position there, Nigeria, Ombetuma NDC. But we're looking for the divine position. How are we going to break these people? They are 18 they are talking about. And God was so wonderful on that by giving us number 8. Break the 8.
And you say breaking the 8, you know, mu na abedi mo ho.
I say no. God gave it to us. We have to break it. We have to break the 8 of Galamsey. We have to break the 8 of corruption. We have to break the 8 of poverty. Break the 8 of what? Unemployment. So we have to break it. If we don't break it, we can't reset this country.
Sani ewo kan na che se enyamo na mo kan se wabra owura Evans ni makuko yi krata ni wie ye swapping bi so between on ne Kofi Akpelu no mo mu ni sa problem no
Endi Sankasa Yankasa bibia chisa so obi kasa dia and there some but NDC as a party Yankasa
yo doka no pay mame na wase sani ewo kan se ne emu yiye no eche se nyame na amamanya ne emu nyaaye no ye do be sia every Tuesday ko ye beto ankomo no so
medasi
Abusi NDC amanyoko Deputy Director of Elections Dr. Rashid Computer ena yene no atwetwe enkomo ntitietietitia wo monhyeda eni haubia na mame fada ubonkrata ne tew na mensori so yade the spectator ebehyasie anopai na abakata famiensa a doctor for any pharmacy technicians na de atudwase wo mo a omutu galamsey wo ma Ghana mu no yesis wo mo yade na sesei Wamuko pharmacy koto enura enkaduru a obia no mo a etumisa ne yawe no yesi omo a etu galamsey no mo e wo fom no mo amutu no omo body na build resistance to drugs bia wo yade bi kano na de aduro no ma ne senyenko na Pharmacy Technician Association of Ghana mpanimfo che se enuro no a omo de wohoro sa galamsey fo no mutu wi a enuro omo de ewohoro enetie no ekonya sika okọ no omo hwehwe no sa nnuro no ebi ena akeka wo mu nipadua no ebi ti se cyanide then na sulfuric acid then na nitric acid ene ne akeka aka ho no yese chese ama omu nipadua no sesei omo yare a ennuro bi wo ho oba ne yede ma omo sen enya de se wo ho etumi edwo won de bonkatei ena de aba wei eye ne apomdi adwumayefo ehu a wo mode etu edwa ewo ha se ntine wunya the spectator de bo enkrata no a sansemi bi ebo mu ena yakọ akwamuman so a akwamuman wunim se na afra koma ye kan okukudrufo ohima frakoma ye otoso mienu wotena so se ohima ewo akwamufie no emfie mako aduosiani na afahye ne de eni akwamu adi ni se ya akwamuman omu adi ni se ya kama ya unya the spectator animu a na ehima eda ho kama na the mirror de ubonkrata so enie the mirror de ayode atudwa doctor for na ebokoko se krankran yade ewomu a se nipa ne yese bipolar na ase krankran yate si nipa no so saa yese se ye wanhwe na wantwiti amfa anko hospital ne ani so nipa we de na dwemu ka no na nipa we de saa na ote a ewomu a nipa no de ho ahomte ebetumi ahye ne ho akomfo we doctor yani sum ena de asemi atudwa se obi kwa ya sabia ne etimi diagnose ni se bipolar ena ha no treatment no was empanimfo taking it very serious eti unya the mirror the bonkrata no a sansemi bi ewomu ena yeba the bonkrata daily graphic so emu a daily graphic de ayo de atudwa enra Balloting no e course no nipa no ena chese wahyehyɛ ne saa ne odikan ne otoso mienu wahyehyɛ ne kama etunya daily graphic de bo enkrata no a ebi ewom ena ekoi movement for change for so wonumra ni metia okoyi no kyereye de bonkata daily graphic de bi abanabusia mamenkai we se wonim se juada ebei eya fofida holiday no a eye no yenni no kwa wonse du sabre ya nkwala no e wo so de omupie ana wobedi dwa na wobekọ melkom penim for se yemfa entom anim se ye ma 20% discount kwasi da ebei 20% discount item bia wo beto free melkom branch bia wo Ghana no massive 20% discount ena yede ma we hyase enra fiadai ena memen o mo toaso kine kwasie chese ye toaso a wonim se enne so Kwame Nkrumah awoda ye kan enka Kwame Nkrumah awoda no ka nne esie na fofida ne yebedi no edadwoada eti enrafie ukoma ukoma ne wuyi bia no 20% discount ye di Kwame Nkrumah awoda no ye mawo 20% discount enne ejinam eti nobody dwa bia ya wunim se bi won melkom akọ no mo because 20% discount ene ye de mawo na chine kwasie so ye toa so saa enti se ye gadgets ahoro electronics bia wo beto groceries no ayi wadwen se okoto nkonwa na wo koto home decor niema bia wo to no ukọ melkom yes 20% discount ene yi afri so ede mawo ma menyana minchuapo na yenkwotoa so emfri Adom TV so abelenwa o message no aba abele message ode aba wo se Dr. Muhammadu Baumia number 1 ya woda no echese no kwasem ne se Ghana for ebetro aba no ede amano ne de ayi ode aba medamu nyina amase Musa abato aso de ne de aba o se Allah wa answer the prayers of NDC JDM number 8 nyame atie ne mpaibo Michael Srimsai or say the choice number 1 na Dr. Muhammadu Baumia eyino or say a clear indication say nkunimdie no aba nyame age no atum ejabata Putin also message no aba munyina ma menam asena memfamu ensia ne nkotoa so emfri Adom TV so the discussion segment no etoa so efio me producers Dominic Kisiyeboa kwa kutum ena ene asiedu ebebo chidom de metumu live wo Facebook ene YouTube Bengazi etechire omahene Kwabena Santene Philipos Ebonsuso ebo mi chidom midin ede akua Boakyewaa Yiadom oframi ABY mejo so abusuya madam asema moniti a munyimfo na yemfa ensi ya enkotoa so emfri Adom TV so ene anopei ewo na wotwi dwumadie emu